Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa Bloom.
And I'm Sarah Bloom.
And today I want to talk about whether you can get fired for speaking up about COVID issues in your workplace. So, Sarah, remember airlines? You know, those big metal
No,
tubes in the sky that you used to use to go from one place to another?
it doesn't sound familiar. No.
I know. Me neither. But one of them apparently was called Delta. And Delta Airlines is in the news now because it has asked its flight crews not to reveal that they had COVID symptoms or that they tested positive for the coronavirus. Delta does not want their workers to talk about this, not in person, not on social media. They don't want them to talk about it. And they say that what they want them to do is to follow their protocols. So workers are supposed to call a hotline to report their status, and that's it.
Of course, no worker trusts a hotline. It's like, who's answering? What's going to happen to that information? Will coworkers even be notified from calling this random hotline so they can protect themselves?
Right, because the whole reason why people want to reveal this information is to protect other people, their coworkers, their
Right.
customers. So this raises the legal question, do workers have the right to disclose their own medical information to coworkers or to customers or on social media? Most people think, well, it's my medical information. Why can't I disclose it if I want to? So here's a second example. We represent a country club worker, and some members of the country club had tested positive, and they told her about it, and she had been hugging them, and she was concerned, and she wanted to warn others about this, especially since most of the members are seniors. So her doctor told her to go home and quarantine because she'd been exposed, which she did. But she still wanted to warn people, and management told her not to. She posted on Facebook that she had been exposed and everybody should stay safe and be careful. And then she got fired. And I say, hell no, this is just
Hell
wrong.
no.
Right? And so workers say to us, what about my First Amendment rights? Don't I have the right to talk about my own medical information or to reveal that there's this deadly virus that may have been circulating in my workplace?
I'm going to guess the answer. It's the lawyer's favorite answer of maybe, or it depends, right?
Always a good
Always a safe answer when you don't know the answer.
And yes, my daughter, ding, 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 you are correct. So let's talk about the First Amendment for a second, because people think it means that you can say whatever you want, whenever you want, and that's not true.
That's
So
not what it means.
it says on the topic of free speech is, Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech or of the press. Okay, Congress shall make no law, and that's been extended to state and local governments. Okay, so government cannot tell you that you can't speak out about things, but Delta Airlines is not a government, it's a private company. And the bottom line is that Delta can abridge the freedom of speech of its workers. Delta can say, you can't say negative things about the company publicly. That's non-disparagement. Government can't say that, right? The government can't say, Lisa, you can't criticize Trump, right? We all have the right to criticize our government. That's a core First Amendment principle.
So if private companies can restrict your free speech, it doesn't sound like the Delta worker or the country club worker have a good First Amendment claim, right?
Right. Sadly, they do not. But compare. So we represent a nurse who worked at a public hospital in New York, and she posted some photos on Facebook showing that the hospital was very messy and dirty, and she was fired. I think she has a valid First Amendment claim because as a public employee, she still has her constitutional rights, and we will soon be filing a complaint for her. Public employees do have First Amendment rights as long as they're talking about issues of public concern. And I would think COVID would definitely be an issue of public concern. It can't just be about a minor workplace grievance like, why does Cheryl always eat all the red vines?
That is a major workplace issue, I think. What's Cheryl doing? Why?
Yeah, back when we had workplaces and we all
True.
stuck our hands in the same jars, which ever going to be happening again. But, you know, even in the case of big workplace issues like COVID, courts still sometimes will defer to an employer's interest in workplace harmony. And there's a major Supreme Court case called Garcetti that lays this out if any of you law geeks out there are interested in more details on the balancing test. A department spokesperson, for example, still has to follow department guidelines when speaking for an agency. But the bottom line is, I do think that a nurse in a public hospital has the right to speak out about life and death health issues, and that is protected by the First Amendment. It's not petty. She's doing it not to disrupt the hospital, but to save lives. So we're going to fight for her and her First Amendment rights. But private sector workers, alas, no First Amendment rights.
That's crazy, because we can't stand the idea of wrong without a remedy. You know, we always want to dig deeper and find the legal hook to help workers who are only doing the right thing and they get fired for it. You know, these flight attendants, it sounds like we're in an urgent situation trying to warn their colleagues about a deadly virus, you know, and I salute them for that. And wrongfully firing employees, especially right now, is so devastating. So let's go back to the private sector workers at Delta and the country club worker. Might they have other legal claims to fight back against their termination?
Yes, so you're right. We kept digging, and I think the Delta workers may have a whistleblower claim. Many federal and state laws protect workers' rights to speak out about safety, and workers always have the right to a safe workplace. So I see them as speaking out about an unsafe condition in their workplace, the virus that was circulating, and trying to protect everybody's health, which is protected, and good for them for doing that. I don't trust the hotline, schmotline. I don't think that's a good alternative. The coronavirus is highly transmissible. It's deadly. You know, we don't have time for the corporate bureaucracy, the hotline person to talk to this person, talk to that person. You know, I would call these Delta workers workplace safety whistleblowers and fight for them on that ground. And there is a second ground, which is the CARES Act, C-A-R-E-S, the CARES Act. That's the big federal legislation that's been passed, multi-trillion-dollar legislation. And don't you know that billions of dollars have gone to the airline industry under the CARES Act on the condition that they give some of that to their workers, that they don't cut compensation, that they don't furlough, and they don't lay off their workers. So is this really a layoff in disguise, which is prohibited, or is it termination for cause? If I were representing those Delta workers, I would say let's hold the company's feet to the fire and let's find out.
And our country club worker, what are her options?
So we are arguing there that she's a victim of perceived disability discrimination because management treated her differently after they found out that she had been exposed to COVID in their workplace, by the way. So we will be going public with that case very soon. Stay tuned. You'll be hearing more about that. And everybody, I hope you are staying strong and staying safe. And Sarah, are you staying safe?
Yes, I have my
Sure?
masks right here.
Promise?
Yes.
What is that?
It's my masks.
Why is it still in its original plastic packaging? Does that mean
Isn't that how you're supposed to wear it?
You're supposed to take it out and put it over your face. Sarah.
Take it
out.
out.
All right.
Got it.
Everybody stay safe, safer than my own daughter, Sarah Bloom, and we'll see you next time.
Take care.